Welcome,
It's
everybody.
happening.
Yep, to the October 11th, 2023 Aladdin DAO Community Call. We are glad you're here. Here with the core team, a few visitors and guests and regulars. So glad
Honored
to have you all
guests.
here. Yeah, absolutely. So we'll go ahead and just dive on into it. Let's kick it off with FX. Everybody loves FX.
Everybody loves FX, and we've been trying to be noisy. I mean, we've been getting hitting the pavement and talking to people, and there's been some tweeting action and stuff. So we got a few things to talk about, and I think number one, KMETS, is the booster round, the very first ever booster round.
Oh yeah. So as you all know, we have had like a ton of opportunities to vote for the FX booster round. So appreciate everyone sort of for their patience as we're all, it's kind of new for a lot of folks, I think.
Yeah.
And it's probably overwhelming, but we're trying to do our best to make sure it's a very smooth operation for everybody. And
if anybody's got ideas, as always, we're always looking for people to give feedback from the community. I think that we're thinking internally about ways that we can kind of at least try to make like a central location to give people an idea of where they can vote with what tokens they have. But like we have so many tokens, there's so many different ways to vote because of all the interlocking governance. I mean, and I think we've been talking about opening it up to Pepe holders too, right? We wanted to give them a chance.
Pepe holders, Turbo Doge,
yeah. So all of those,
all the Friendtech key holders. Yep.
But we're gonna try to tighten this up for you folks. But basically, you've got a bunch of different ways to get at this vote if you're holding XALD or Clev or even Convex. So we've got. But the point is that this is the very first ever FXN governance vote, and it ends tomorrow at 3 p.m. UTC.
That's correct. Yes. So I just posted the links for the remaining votes for VE, FXN, and XALD. And just as a point of note, I know we posted it in the Discord, but XALD, their vote is operating based on sort of the assumption of what tokens would be locked right now.
Yes. Exactly. Tokens. And I made a pretty detailed post about that in the FX announcements channel, and you can check that out if you want to see the details. But essentially we're trying to follow our commitment to permanently lock Aladdin's FXN allocation without actually locking Aladdin's FXN allocation, which would dilute the revenue going to the other lockers right now.
Yeah, we're trying not to torch our partnerships right off the bat. So.
Well, our partnerships and our, frankly, it's not a. Aladdin doesn't really, even in the big picture, it's not really so important in my personal view anyway, for the very first little like drips of revenue to flow through Aladdin, because obviously once it gets onto the Aladdin side, it's massively diluted on that side anyway with ALD token holders and of course whatever the treasury keeps. Really, Aladdin's point in holding F of X is like Aladdin wants to hold F of X, especially when it's huge, right? That's the point. We want the Aladdin. We at Aladdin want to have that huge stake in that big massive protocol. It's less important for us to have it at this very first stage, and much more important to encourage growth, right? So,
correct.
I think we have enough goodwill in the community that we can not actually officially on-chain lock these FXN tokens, but still, people will believe us when we say we're not doing anything with them. We're not farming them. We're not selling them. We're not dumping them on. They're not in any wallet which I control. So you don't need to worry about my personal temperament.
Yeah. So just FYI on that one, and just appreciate the folks that are participating in the governance, and really trying to we just have so many boosters now that it's important that we make sure that the booster rounds are kind of smooth functioning, and that they're serving their purpose in terms of encouraging people to participate in the community. So we appreciate folks that are spreading the love around. And
absolutely. And I'm gonna sound like a broken record here, and I don't care. anything you think about this program or any of the other things that we do, whether you love it, whether you hate it, whether you think it feels weird, it doesn't matter. Please do share that with us. We are listening. We are listening to what everybody thinks in the community, and we are wide open to adjusting things and making this work. I mean, as I've talked about before, the booster program was really, it started as a total experiment in like trying to encourage and reward grassroots marketing, right? And so, you know, if it's working, we want to know that. If it's not, we want to know that too.
Yeah. Yeah, really important to just have feedback one way or the other, and
absolutely
making sure that it's serving its purpose and it's good for the community. So
yeah, for sure.
So there you go. So that's kind of what we've got with the
booster round.
And you know, one little item left for that is just, you know, the A team. We've kind of started this cool little booster games program, and so just be, as the votes are coming in, just kind of be thinking about your strategy. If you want to participate or not, it's totally voluntary.
Do you want to give just like a 2-minute like overview of that, just
sure,
to remind me, since I've apparently forgotten the details already?
Sure. So the A team, you know, got on Friend Tech. We just decided that, you know, this thing's kind of sticking around and folks are enjoying it. You know,
it's got legs.
It's got legs. You know, they've kind of beefed up their security a little bit. It seems like it's a little bit, you know, like a cool thing to kind of involve folks in. You know, it's just sort of a way to keep people interested. And so A team's on it. We're on Friend Tech, and you can go and check us out, buy our key, do whatever you want. And so we decided, you know, what would be really cool is with the booster program, you know, the FXN tokens are going to vest over 12 months. And so the A team has a little bit of just a small treasury, but a little bit of a treasury to where we decided that's set aside for community use to kind of reward community participants. So we decided, you know what, if we were to allow people to sacrifice FXN tokens in the booster round, which anybody's willing, you know, for whatever reason, you're always willing to, you're always able to sacrifice your booster rewards for, if you have charitable donation or you want to donate to somebody else or whatever. But we were like, you know, if folks want to sacrifice those for the rest of the boosters, we would buy their Friend Tech keys at 80% of the value of the FXN tokens that they gave up. And so we were like, man, that's actually a really cool idea, because it basically allows you to have, if you own your own keys on Friend Tech, it allows you to have sort of instant liquidity from that, and liquidity on an L2,
which is nice.
Yeah,
that's an interesting. I never thought about that, but it's like a free bridge.
It's sort of like a free bridge. You kind of have to take it in the shorts a little bit when you take the 80% discount.
Right. Yeah. But, I mean, it's an 8. Right. I suppose free is probably got an asterisk beside it.
But, you know, it's kind of one of those deals where it's like, okay, well, you know, that's, you know, I'm bullish on, you know, Friend Tech.
But 80% is high. Like 80% is a lot, considering you're buying out a year's vested. Is it a year or 3 months? Anyway, you're buying it. It's like a time period, a vested time period, right? So it's not just the bridging cost. That's also the time value of that money, right?
Yeah. So there's a lot of angles to it. So,
yeah.
You know, we'll retweet our post on it to make sure everyone kind of realizes sort of the rules on it. But we think it's kind of like an interesting twist. We've gotten a lot of real positive feedback on it so far, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see.
Yeah. Speaking of experiments,
see how well it works, and you know, if people can give up however much of their rewards they want for us to buy their Friend Tech keys,
if they choose. Yeah, and I love these kinds of optional you know, games that we can play a little bit. And actually, I think that there's probably another one we can talk about. I just added it into our agenda in real time here. Right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so like we've been talking internally, we've been investigating the feasibility of potentially vesting booster rewards as liquid locked FXN, either through Staked Out or through Convex. So this is something we're really interested to hear what people in the community think about this idea. And so then what do you guys think? If you receive, like, if you get an FXN allocation from a booster reward, would you like that to be automatically locked and and I think, Charlene, correct me if I'm wrong, we're looking at the feasibility of having that staked and earning revenue while it's vesting. Is that right?
Correct. And you have the option to choose stake with convex or stake though, and
Right.
earn at the same time. And you can also just vest the token itself.
Wow. Okay. So then the idea here is that you would get your whole upfront allocation of FXN would be locked on your behalf and earning its revenue share while the tokens themselves are still locked from vesting, right? And then you would claim whether you chose SDFXN or CVXFXN, that would be the token that you would claim as it vests, but or that would be claimable as it vests. But because it's staked and earning revenue, it's you're kind of earning that revenue on your FXN right off the bat. So if you guys like that idea, we're playing around with it on the back end. We're looking at the technical feasibility of that. It's looking promising right now, though. So we're hoping maybe even to have that option available if there's interest. We're hoping to have that option available for the first FXN booster distribution. So
yeah, I think it's
cool.
Pretty cool option. So it's something to think about. Just
Yeah, exactly. I mean, basically, the trade-off is that once your tokens do vest, you're going to be subject to the peg of whatever liquid locker you used, right? Like the CVXFXN peg or the SDFXN peg, right? Like if you were planning to just dump those, which I mean, to each his own, but I really wouldn't be doing that. But the idea here is that like that's what you would get, but you'd scoop that revenue right from the very beginning. I think it's a pretty darn cool option. And maybe yeah. I mean, I would think about that very seriously for myself too. I don't know, K-Mets, what do you think?
I like the option of that while it's vesting, you're still earning revenue. I think that is like really super cool. And so I think I personally think it'll be pretty popular. But I mean, any feedback, if folks have thoughts on it or whatever. But we're definitely looking into it. So
yeah, and once again, the idea with all of this is to make it optional. It would be something you choose. We're trying to keep it. We don't want to make any decision on your behalf, right? As much as is possible on the technical side. So you can always revert. You can always receive your FXN allocation as pure FXN and have it vesting that way.
Yeah. So it's kind of a trying to make things positive sum for everybody. So really positive. So we'll see. So okay. So moving right along, we have
oh, actually, hold on a second. So I thought just on that subject before we go, we'll give a little minor update because we were just talking about having that liquid locker and earning that revenue. I think we just crossed the 30 ETH revenue mark for F of X. Just as like a little mini celebration. So like total income the protocol has made is just crossed 30 ETH, and of course it accelerates as more XETH and FETH are minted, right? There's obviously the mint redeem fees, which are one part of it, and then just the staking revenue of the protocol. We are just shy of 2,300 ETH, right? That's 3.6 million TVL.
Man, I tell you, it's been pretty impressive to sort of watch the protocol sort of like shape up from Genesis. It's been
exactly.
Cool,
and I mean, and I think that it's probably also worth it to remind everybody that you've got the we divert half of the staking revenue goes to the rebalance pool, and we want to make it clear also, like the FXN tokens are getting a big chunk of revenue. Like that's it's earmarked at 75% right now. I'm not going to go into we're not going to go down that path, but just to say, like, we just want to celebrate a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. I'm laughing here because there's a flurry of messages flying around in the in the private Discord as I am like speaking and I'm being corrected in real time on the back end. So let me.
Okay, so here we'll just make it kind of sweet, short and sweet. It's just like
Yeah.
we're doing okay.
We're doing awesome. I'm the corrections that I'm getting on the back end are like that 30 staked ETH in revenue already excludes the amounts paid to the rebalance pool. So the rebalancing pool that earns a part of those staking yields and that earns that yield, that is net revenue. So that is after we have paid the paid the rebalancing pool, which is just, I mean, that's even better.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm just gonna say this. I like FX.
You like it? We like the protocol. We like the protocol.
These are the dares I'm willing to make live here on the community call.
How could you say something so controversial and yet so brave?
Oh boy, we're having a good time. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So basically over 22 ETH is being held in reserve to transmit to VEFXN holders and the various liquid lockers should they offer revenue sharing, which I believe they all do. Give you that full claim. So this is it's pretty cool stuff. And when we do flip the switch, which again is going to be there's no in principle delay. It's just getting the technical T's crossed and I's dotted, and seeing if we can have this option to use the liquid locker as well. But that's all coming soon. There's ETH burning a hole in our pocket right now, K-Mets, and we just want to give it. We just want to give it to those token holders. We got to do it.
I'm looking forward to it. I think everybody's looking forward to it. So
it's going to be fun.
It's always cool when we have those sort of the revenue giveouts, and you just see these eye-popping APRs for like a week.
Yeah, the first week where it's like, yeah, and you got to be a little careful with that. Where people are like, oh man, this protocol is paying out thousands of percent.
Bull market's back, baby.
Bull market's back. It's home all over again. No, it's just the numbers always look high when you've got like a built up amount that you're distributing, But anyway, we have a built up amount. It is gonna look pretty awesome, especially in that first week. But this is this protocol. It's bringing home the bacon, and it's bringing home the bacon for the token holders. Pretty cool stuff. All right, enough about that dirty money talk. We don't want to talk about money. We want to talk about more interesting things like entertainment.
Exactly. Yes, that's why you're in DeFi here, folks. For the entertainment.
That's literally why I am in DeFi. So
we are an entertainment DAO first and foremost. So if you haven't figured that out already.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so if you haven't
I am so sorry to everybody involved. I am so sorry.
So if you haven't seen on Twitter yet, the flurry of retweets and whatnot, but Kruger and we got to hang out with the Flywheel DeFi guys.
Oh, and, that was
a little
fun.
chat with them. And so that podcast that we recorded with them, it's coming out today.
Yeah.
So keep your eyes peeled.
I am keen to see what I wonder how much of my bullshit they cut out, because I hope it's a lot. It seems like we're recording these things. You know what though? Honestly, we had such a good time. Or at least I did. I don't know about you, K-Mets, but it was the conversation flowed really well. I feel like I've said this before. I feel like I'm getting better at giving you the gears, K-Mets. I feel like I'm my
we
banter.
all love it when you give me the gears.
I feel like I'm honing my skills there, and I was really pleased that in the promo video that hit Twitter this morning that they caught a little piece to that.
Yeah. So good news, Charlin. Now some of his flack is now redirected at me. So
yeah. Well, I have enough for everyone. I have enough for everyone. So I want to make sure that I am always making fun of as many people as possible. Only the ones I like though, K-Mets. That's
what they always say, isn't it?
That's
how they know.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true.
So keep your eyes peeled for the podcast. It'll be coming out.
And guys, okay, hold up a second here. I breezed over this point of this promo video, right, K-Mets? But like,
Okay.
we need to talk about that, don't we?
All right. I don't know where you're going.
Well, it's incredible. The Flywheel DeFi guys, like, they put together this. They cut together a promo video, which was like, just like, you know, they picked a 2.5 minutes, I think, of content of the conversation that we had, and then they put together this amazing, like my mind was blown. This video, they added these animations. It's all captioned appropriately, so you don't even need to have like the sound on if you don't want to. But they like add these animations that like give you the option, or what? Not say give you the option, but basically like just explain, kind of illustrate what we're talking about as we're going. Like really,
yeah,
really good stuff. You got to check it out.
They definitely have a very professional sort of program going now, and it is. I mean, you look at it and you're like, this is as good as any top tier podcast in crypto, or really anywhere.
In crypto or anywhere. That's. Yeah, and what I loved about it the most was that I can like stumble and mutter my way through an explanation, but when the animations are on the screen, it gives the illusion that I know what I'm talking about. And like it makes me suddenly like other humans can actually follow the words I'm saying, and that is, I think that's the main. That's for me. That was the most exciting part of it.
We can now finally understand Kruger.
Yeah, exactly. Boy. That was. So guys, check it out if you haven't seen it. Can we drop a link? Paul, could you grab up a link if you don't have one, just to that tweet and check out that that video. We got to do that. Anyway, so that's that Flywheel podcast. The full version is dropping later today. We haven't heard it. I mean, we heard it at the time we were recording it, but I don't know what they.
Who knows what they kept?
They definitely kept. It was
an Eminem discussion.
They kept the Eminem discussion. They obviously kept at least a little bit of me giving K-Mets the gears, which again, very proud of. So
he's over the moon, folks.
Yeah, I'm happy. And last but the best.
Well, we will leave that up to the community to decide.
Okay, let's leave that to let's leave it to posterity. I wrote a very short article. I recently wrote 4 paragraphs, K-Mets.
And let me say this, like, we can't talk about XETH enough. Mm-hmm. And I think
exactly.
And I really want to encourage folks to like this is like a slam dunk in terms of like booster stuff, is just continuing to educate the community on XETH, on FX, how it operates. People get very confused by this very easily, mainly just because, when we were talking about the protocol, we're like, is FETH a stable coin? Do you call it a stable coin? And it's like, well, not exactly. Really. And, I guess the term flat coin is maybe appropriate, but even then that's sort of like murky. And
what's interesting is like stable coin is totally appropriate. And in a matter of fact, it's arguably more appropriate for what we're doing in that we are explicitly dampening volatility rather than pegging to a particular asset, which is the way that the term is generally used. But for especially in the beginning when we were talking about how to discuss it, we said, well, we can't say stablecoin because people will assume it's pegged. Then they'll see the value is like whatever, it's $1.05 or 0.98 or whatever it happens to be at any given time, and they'll assume it's not working. Anyway, we've struggled with how best to position this, and I think it's probably a problem that anybody who's made something kind of new deals with.
Yeah, it's definitely a paradigm shift, and XETH as well is just sort of like, well, it's just wild ass ETH is basically So like
it's
Kruger.
We were talking about lines, yeah.
Yeah, we were going back and forth on sort of like marketing like one-liners or whatever, and I like tokenized Hopium and like
tokenized Hopium was an awesome one. That was yours. I give you full credit.
Thank you.
I made a list of mediocre ones.
There were some good ones. Yeah,
they're not bad.
Just brainstorming.
Just brainstorming. I like the one of the ones that I did that I thought was okay was we call it ETH but more so.
Yes, it really is.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's ETH, but it's more so. And you know, we're thinking about this internally. Obviously, this is a big, as Kmet says, a big area where boosters can contribute a lot, because once you actually understand the protocol, like every different brain who's thinking about this is gonna be well served by like a different metaphor or a different way of talking about it. So you know, in the spirit of just adding more things to the discussion, I wrote this little article, leverage for the rest of us. And you know, I also did a tweet thread which kind of captured the main points. If my according to Medium, it's a 2-minute read. If you don't have 2 minutes, check out the tweet thread, which shortens it down a little bit more. But basically, this is my approach at talking about XETH without getting sidelined into the mechanism at all, right? Just purely from a what does it do when you have it, and why would you want it? That kind of a thing, right?
Yeah.
And this is also a little bit more. We kind of talk internally about there being maybe a couple of broad groups of users that will partially overlap in the middle. But on the one side, you've got the more retail kind of folks, and then on the other side, you've got like pro traders who might want to use this composably and maybe more advanced strategies and things like that. My article is really written more at the retail side, which is more like, you know, for the average schmuck, which I consider myself to be, you know, why do you care about this token? Is there what can you do with it, right? And so trying, rather than like, we talk a lot about XETH and we contrast it with like leverage perps. But the problem with describing it that way is that you have to understand what a leverage perp is and how it works and what like its weaknesses are.
Yeah, and I think, you know, we'd love to get the community's like sort of feedback on sort of like how you're looking at it and how you're approaching it. Because
absolutely, and that's true whether you are on the retail or the pro end.
Exactly.
Specifically, I've been chatting with pros. One pro I've been chatting with is here right now. It's Cody. He's joined us. He's joined us to hang out today, and I was talking to him about this just yesterday. We had a very interesting discussion, and he had some good insight for me. But yeah,
Okay.
we want to hear from you. We want to hear from you.
Absolutely, yeah. So, you know, it kind of has to be sort of a community conversation as to like how DeFi is going to approach these sorts of things. We can only extend it so far, right?
Well, yeah, and I think this is where we use the power of decentralization, right? Like everybody can take their own, like, as long as people aren't making a factual mistake. Any way you want to describe this and talk about it is great, because somebody else is going to be wanting to hear about it that way. You know, we as the team are going to have our own way of like thinking about it and talking about it, but that doesn't mean that like we don't need to like have some kind of talking points that the community exclusively uses, right? As long as you're factually correct about how it works, describe it however makes sense to you, and share that, because, you know, decentralization.
I mean, well, it's important to like understand sort of everybody's point of view and how they're approaching these things, and you know, because we want to learn as well on the core team. So yeah,
absolutely. So check it out, tweet about it, talk about it. You know, if you like what I wrote, let me know. If you hate what I wrote, maybe just tell Kmetz and he can just.
I'm putting a list together. I'm gonna give Kruger the gears.
He's gonna tell me nobody reached out to me, buddy, because you need to care for my.
You wrote an
article?
Need to
care for my ego. No, you're supposed to tell me everybody loved it, because you need to keep my ego happy. That's because otherwise I won't make, you know, I'm going to be very ineffective if I don't feel good.
Oh, poor Kruger.
Yeah. So check that out, guys. Check out the article. Check out the tweet thread. It's short.
It's good, guys. It's pretty good. Kruger's you know, he's pretty darn good at writing. I'll give him that.
I'm trying.
Pretty darn good at it. Okay.
And that's a wrap on FFX, I think, buddy.
I think so. We've definitely meandered all over a bit with it.
Holy cow! It's 38 minutes past the hour. Okay. Luckily, that's the bulk of our agenda, but we do have stuff to talk about for Clever, Concentrator, Aladdin, the usual stuff. So what's up with Clever?
Well, we just had our booster round finaled. So there you go.
Rewards.
So we sent out the spreadsheet that showed the rewards. If you guys are new to the booster program, or you have like changed wallets for whatever reason, let us know ASAP so that we
Oh
can,
yeah.
so that we can,
Those addresses, they're important.
they're quite important, and that's where your tokens will be vesting towards over the next 12 months. So so let us know ASAP. You know, reach out to myself or anyone on the core team, and just shoot us a DM and let us know. But otherwise, yeah, we're excited for everyone, and you know, it's just smooth sailing on the Clever Booster round.
Yeah, and you know, it's always fun when we you get the distribution out, you get the tokens into people's hands, and you get that sort of like close the loop on trying to help encourage that kind of grassroots stuff, like we were talking about with the FFX program. Although on the subject of the booster program, so we and actually probably all of the booster programs, this probably is true not just for Clever but for FFX as well. This came up when we were talking with some of our partners, and they're kind of, you know, our newer partners are kind of not familiar with these booster programs we've been running, and they wanted to know, you know, how it all works, and we got feedback from them that's not new. We've heard this before, but people say like it's tough to allocate your vote properly. Like the idea here for the voters is that you want to reward the best content, right? Because the best content is boosting your protocol, it's driving the value of your protocol up, and it's driving the value of your tokens up, right? So you know, the people, when you're voting for booster rewards, the like quote unquote correct way to vote, in my personal view, is the one which gets the rewards into the hands of the people who deserve it the most. And I say deserve it the most, I mean like the people who did the most to advance the protocol, right? The most to build it up. The idea from the protocol's perspective is this is a marketing spend, right? This is us using our native token inflation to encourage people to talk more and to like make content in many different voices and perspectives and points of view, to just help get that message out there and penetrate the market. So to me, when you're voting for the booster rewards, that's the best outcome, is when we can find those people who really move the needle on FFX marketing. And so that often means like if you noticed their stuff, if you liked their stuff, you know, if you saw something, like if somebody had something that got a little bit viral or had good like transmission, or, you know, spawned a good conversation or whatever, right? You know, each individual voter has to kind of vote their conscience on what they think is the most important. So, but anyway, to bring it back to the question is like, where can I find all of the content that people have created? Because it's just scattered all around, right? The idea, you know, this is going to be such a decentralized thing that people can kind of make content anywhere. But if you're a voter that wants to reward the best stuff, you might have missed some of the best stuff. So, we as a team don't want to be curators. We think that has too much potential for abuse. Like we don't want to be gatekeepers to like who should be highlighted and who shouldn't.
Right.
We try to sort of uniformly retweet content as long as it follows a certain basic like rules and guidelines. We try to uniformly retweet content that boosters create, but otherwise we don't highlight any of it for extra reward or anything like that. But it's hard to find that content. So one of the things we're considering is maybe putting together a way for boosters to submit their content. Like if you make a tweet thread, maybe a little Google form to submit that link to just a publicly viewable spreadsheet. And like have one place. Again, we've got the contribute channel in the Discord, but maybe is a spreadsheet that people can load a single link to and see a nice concise list of everything that the individual boosters have submitted, might make it a little easier to do that voting.
Yeah, you know, mainly the whole point of this is, you know, when you're just Aladdin and you're just kind of operating, you know, with the community itself, and you know, you're kind of like isolated a little bit. It's a little bit easier to kind of sort of pick out sort of like who's doing what and contributing. But once we involve sort of these bigger partners, and they're like, well, what is this? What's going on? And they're not familiar with the various community members and who contributes what and what to expect or whatnot. Then it does sort of like complicate matters a little bit. And so, yeah. So like Kruger's saying, it's basically just to sort of decentralize things, kind of take it out
Yeah.
of the, make sure that the team doesn't have an outsized say, and make sure that folks that do contribute, that their contributions are recognized. You know.
Yeah, I mean, just at least help them be findable, right? Like that's the idea here. As you say, suddenly every CVX voter in the world has a say in our booster rounds.
Yeah.
And so that's or the FFX one anyway. And so obviously that's we need to do a little bit more, I think, to at least centralize that information or give boosters a place where they can do that. Ultimately, it's still going to be up to the boosters to actually do that submission, and do that, because again, that's intentional. We are trying not to have a hand in that, but we want to provide just at least kind of a central place where people can kind of come together and list that stuff.
Yeah. So
as a team, we will. Sorry, I'll just comment. As a team, we will probably try to remove like abuse of the system, but otherwise, no curation.
Yeah, absolutely. So everyone, we'll give you guys updates as sort of that develops and evolves to sort of but something that A is sort of like can be handled by the core team, and something that it makes sense to you guys as well. So we will keep you in the loop on that one.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Just keep your eyes peeled for that. We'll let everybody know on the usual channels with Twitter and Discord once it's out. So, but yeah, clever booster round. It was good. It was fun. So we will start vesting those tokens soon.
Yeah, absolutely. So concentrator up next. 3 gauges, 3 check marks. Right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's FXN ETH, CVX FXN, and SDF. So both the liquid lockers, SDFXN and CVX FXN, each of those paired with the main FXN token, as well as the pool 2, the FXN ETH token. All of those gauges passed on Curve, so all of those are now possible to be incentivized and farmed. And this is how liquid lockers work, folks. When they're trying to build that liquidity in the pair in order to maintain the peg, it's a farming opportunity for all of us. And frankly, it's a pretty interesting one if you want to stay well exposed to the token. Like it's a pool 2 that still mostly follows the underlying FXN token. So a nice opportunity to do some farming without having to give up any FXN, right? So if you farm FXN and ETH, you're getting 50% exposure to, or approximately, right? Half of your exposure is FXN and half of your exposure is ETH. So the PEG ones give you the option to be full FXN exposed. The ETH one gives you the option to be half. All of them potentially farmable in the future. So pretty exciting news there.
Yes. So thanks everybody for, supporting that stuff. I mean, that's one of the things that we sort of need to instill as a culture here, is just sort of, participation in these governance votes, because they're really important to the success of Aladdin, to these protocols.
Yeah, to how it all works, right?
And I mean, that's the whole point of a DAO, isn't it? So, so for those that participated, thank you so much, for helping us get these, through and pass through the line. So, obviously that we'll start incentivizing those through the bi-weekly gauge votes with our stack of convex and VE curve and SD curve and bribes and whatnot. So you'll start seeing those rewards flowing here pretty soon. So just keep your eyes peeled and watch the Vodium booster round. So
yeah, we're gonna do our best to try to draw people's attention where it needs to be, and keep things as easy as possible.
Yeah, for sure.
Next up is we've got the Harvester up and running for FETH paired with Frax BP. So I think you guys are aware that we had launched the FETH paired with Curve USD first in order to kick the tires on the parameters and make sure that those were working properly, since that is not a pegged asset. Right, so that had to be a V2 pool, and obviously the parameter settings you choose there are really important. So we worked together with Michael at Curve on that, and once we got the parameters working, that opened the door to launching FETH and Frax BP with the similar, or maybe even the same parameters. I'm not sure. I didn't see the implementation of that, but the idea is it's up, and Concentrator has now officially got the harvester running for that pool. So if you want to provide some liquidity there, you can use Concentrator, and you can concentrate into. Is it Afrax ETH for this one? I don't have it up.
I
Right
think
now.
so. Yeah. When I checked yesterday, it was a.
We have an Afrax ETH harvester for that. So that's
getting some love for Afrax.
It's nice,
ETH, man.
and in fact, it's one of those nice. If you're a fraximalist, if you're one of these frax people like the Flywheel guys we were talking about earlier, this is a really nice option because you're supporting the protocol and that you're farming in Frax BP denominated pools, but concentrating into Afrax ETH is building Frax's liquid staking side too, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so that's but part of the story of Concentrator is really people are farming the tokens they like best, but the flip side of that is that the best protocols, or at least the protocols that you can concentrate into, if you want to sort of, it's really positive for that protocol, right? And so if you want to support that protocol in the way that you're farming, you've got these great options. Concentrator is arguably the best option for it, I think.
Yes. Yeah. It's. I mean, it's
you
just
think
so
about
cool.
that for a sec.
Well, yeah, I was reading some stuff, but anyway,
I see.
it's just really cool. I think just the idea of like being able to, dollar cost average into ETH with your stable coins. It's just such a cool concept. And so, whether that's through the rebalance pool or it's through, Concentrator, it's so cool to have all these options. So,
Yeah, love it.
Automatically.
So check it out, FETH and Frax BP. It is live harvesting on Concentrator right now, and check it out. So last one for Concentrator, we've got a gauge vote coming up. Is that right?
I guess so. Yeah.
So this is unusual, guys. This is on Polygon. I think we talked about this last week. So basically, we're looking at an incentivizing ASD curve liquidity. So that's ASD curve paired, I believe, with Curve, and Charlene can correct me if I'm wrong, in liquidity on Polygon, and that is bridged over via Stargate. So there's going to be more sort of details about this, about sort of bridging in general for these tokens and how we can start getting our hands on them on L2s. But one of the very first things coming up is the bridged ASD curve has got a gauge vote for Polygon. So definitely, if you are a Curve voter through any of the means that people can vote on Curve governance, definitely do swing by and support that gauge vote so that we can get some emissions and create some opportunity to farm your compounding SD curve on Polygon, right? Nice low gas. The bull market, as I'm told, K-Mets, the bull market is right around the corner.
Oh,
it's pretty much imminent. I haven't looked at the charts today. It may have already started. I don't know. Is ETH up 15% yet? Because that's what I'm expecting today.
I try to live a positive life and not look at the price chart too much.
That's
That's
mental
a
health.
lie. That's a lie. I'm looking at them all the
no.
time. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's not helping your mental health.
No.
But the point is that it's not always going to be cheap on mainnet, and so we want to be out in front of this, and we want to be ready so that when we want to be ready on the L2s and have those options available. And so this is a big part of that plan.
Yep, absolutely. So
swing by, help it out.
That's pretty much Concentrator, right? So
yep. All right.
It.
And then a couple of little minor issues on Aladdin.
Yeah, I tell you what. First off, just in regards to the booster programs, sometimes we have like folks that are doing stuff that's like behind the scenes as well. Like it's just not like out in the. It's kind of hard to tweet about, or put out an article or something like
very
that.
True.
And one of those individuals that we kind of want to recognize here just a little bit, who's done a lot of behind the scenes work for us, is Cyril. So you're on the call, Cyril. So
he's on the call.
What's up, man?
And apologies if we're mispronouncing that. Is it Cyril? Or maybe I'm butchering that worse by trying to pronounce it well.
It said it pretty well, actually. It's Cyril in French, but
Cyril.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we want to call
the first French I have ever nailed. I want you to know that, right?
Congratulations, Clements.
Well, thank you, Cyril. Man, I tell you what,
Welcome.
all the all the behind the scenes work, man. We just want to just give you like a quick thanks and just say how much we
Yeah,
appreciate
and that's
you doing
and I
that.
think we can talk a little bit about that. Cyril is helping us with reaching out to DEX aggregators and trying to seeing if we can lay some groundwork and get F of X, the minting and redeeming integrated as a route in these DEX aggregators, because that is a zero slippage way to swap between FETH, XETH, and obviously ETH or staked ETH, I guess. So that's such that is a tough job right now, particularly considering that the TVL of F of X is relatively low still, right? We're still very much in the bootstrapping phase and growing phase. That's a huge unlock if we can achieve it, and it's a lot of work. So we wanted to give a shout out for that work and a thanks.
And we also understand, like, trying to speak with these aggregators, how, just you're having to like introduce them to FX and the issues that Kruger and I were talking about earlier is just trying to like, how do you explain it to them? So that
how do you explain it to them? Yeah, what
understand
language do you use in order to make them understand what it means for their product and their integration, right? It's not easy. And as always, open call to the community. If you've got an inside connection at an aggregator that you think would be a great fit, please reach out to a core team member or even Cyril or anybody.
We appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
I'm throwing you under the bus a little bit there, Cyril, because you didn't tell me that I could have people reach out to you, but I'm assuming that you're okay with that. And if not,
I am, definitely. And I believe as soon as we manage to get one aggregator, then it's going to be routed into Llama Swap.
Yes.
And then the is pretty much done, and the other will have to route it as well. So
they'll have to follow suit. Yeah. So it's going to be one of those domino situations. You got to get that first one to fall, or else you're. Yeah. All right. So spectacular. Great shout out there, and appreciate everybody. Appreciate Cyril.
Yes. Thank you guys.
And a couple of little minor Aladdin items before we give it over to Charlene for the 4 minutes that we left her, K-Mets. we might have overdone the.
Well, we did what we do, and we do it very well, right?
That's right. Yeah, filling time with noise.
That's right. So just a couple things real quick. A-Team newsletter, it was out, released last Friday. So, please go check it out if you like.
I'm going to drop a link to that. Everybody can go read it. It is, as always, high quality, lots of details, lots of, it's kind of like the reference. It's the reference if you want to understand what is going on at Aladdin.
Oh boy. Wow. Well, that's high praise. Well, thank you. Okay.
Yeah. It's high praise. It's classic.
He's not giving me the
Nick
gears.
Cage.
Oh, whew.
Yeah. Whew.
All right. So there you go.
Everybody gets one each day, one compliment.
And then just a little A-Team update. Meta's on the call as well, but we got a little giveaway for you guys coming up here. We've got some coffee mugs and there's the tweet.
Spectacular branded coffee mugs.
They're pretty
These are
cool.
One of a kind, folks. They're one of a kind in a very literal way.
Yes, exactly. I was kind of wondering where you were going to go with that, but yes, you're absolutely right. Yeah. So those if you go click on that link, I think it tells you kind of like how to be a part of the giveaway. It's pretty simple. And so we'll be giving those away, I think next week, if I recall, or in the next couple days or something like that. So if you like to drink coffee or tea or whatever, I mean, free.
But I mean, also, K-Mets, I think we can agree this is a Beanie Baby situation, right? You're gonna want to get your hands on one of these because
these are physical NFTs, baby.
These are literally, literally unique items, objects in the real world, which we sometimes forget about. But when Aladdin, if you think that the future of Aladdin is bright, that's. Wouldn't you love to have, a keychain handmade by Jeff Bezos when he was 12? I would think that'd be worth something. It's essentially the same thing.
Yes, exactly. So just go click on that link and go check it out and be a part of the giveaway if you want an Aladdin themed mug. So pretty cool.
Okay.
All right.
And with that, we've left more than 2 minutes for Charlene. Well, not more, but more than 1 minute at least.
Absolutely. take it away, Charlene.
All right, 2 minutes probably is enough for this week.
That's lucky.
I'll try to squeeze it in 2 minutes. So after a number of Fed officials talk, the market right now actually expect that the chance of further rate hikes will be pretty minimum, and market sentiment has improved significantly on back of this. The most important indicators we care about, dollar index has come down to 105.8 from 107 a week ago. 10-year US Treasury bond yield has come down to 4.6 from 4.8 in the past week. And 2-year US Treasury bond yield has come down to 5% from 5.15% in the last week. And global equities are rallied for this week. So a lot of bears have been liquidated in the TradFi market. And it's, of course, it's a very different picture in crypto, where a lot of bulls have been liquidated in the last few days. So I can never answer the question of what crypto is correlated to. So interesting economic data released last week. U.S. employment numbers for September came in mixed again. So ADP came out as 89,000 jobs added versus 153,000 for consensus and 180,000 for the previous month. And non-farm payroll number came in as 336,000 versus 150,000 as consensus, and 227 for August. So ADP numbers missed the consensus by 40%, while non-farm payroll beat the consensus over 100%. So can someone tell these two institutions that, either one of them or both of them will lose credibility completely if they continue to report the same set of data with huge variance from each other? So September inflation numbers will come out tomorrow. If things are better than expected, that will double confirm the market expectation that there will be minimum chance for more rate hikes for this cycle, right? And and people wonder why you tell us completely different things every week. Last week, we were about to collapse, and this week, things suddenly move in very positive directions. I will play some self-defense next week and explain why.
Okay.
And
we need to give Charlene time to fabricate a story.
I mean, God bless her. She's trying to fight the Fed. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's you're not supposed to do that. It's like a rule.
Life is tough. And and what, Kim, are you ready to give me some candies?
Oh yeah, I've got a ton. I'm going through them quick over here.
Speaking of giveaways, that's what we need to get into. Is there going to be a bag of M&Ms in every mug that goes out? I think there should be.
Well, there should be. What's Charlene going to go for Halloween? I'm curious what she's going to go trick or treating as.
Well, it's in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to have your costume by now.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Do you guys buy your costumes already?
Oh, yeah, you got to have them. Well, I mean, we for the kids anyway. I mean, I was thinking
you don't want to be the one looking at the Halloween store the last.
Oh yeah, there's nothing left on the last day of the Halloween store. That's true.
We normally do it some days before.
I was gonna put a sweatshirt on that said "Go Ceiling," like CEILING, like the thing on above your head right now, and I was gonna have like a pom and like a big foam number 1 finger, and tell people I was a ceiling fan.
Well,
okay.
Right. So I thought that was.
You should hold a banner and it says "Axe your East today."
Exactly.
X your ETH today. Yeah, if nothing else, even if you don't read the article, check out my 1950s cartoon advertisement style Art Deco graphic
That's pretty good, man.
I got lucky with my prompting on that one. My art, my drawing. I got lucky with my. I got did well. Sorry, with my where I drew things. I did well.
We didn't realize he was a Photoshop savant. So
No, no Photoshop. It's all hand done, and then I just took a picture of it. Took a picture of it and posted that. So.
Well done, sir. We
Thank you.
appreciate your efforts.
Thank you. I am an artiste.
Yes, that is very, very much, sir. A tapestry of bullshit, as it were.
that I weave each day.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, thanks everyone for coming out. This has been a lot of fun.
I guess you're finished, Charlene. We didn't really.
I guess we kind of cut Charlene off.
I'm done for this week, but I think since we have Cody here.
Oh, you want to hear?
Don't try. No, don't bring me in.
After an hour of solid bullshit, who do you think we could contribute? Cody's here.
Yeah, he's like, I can't save this.
Oh my god, this is we are dragging his credibility down every time we call him out in this phone call.
What a fella.
If we want Cody to join us on this call regularly, so let's not do it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. We're gonna have to get our act together. But oh dear.
Okay. Well,
in any case,
thanks everybody. We will
thank you all.
Post some notes in the Discord, and we'll see you down the road a little bit.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Don't forget to stop by the Discord, hang out a little bit, shoot the shit, follow us on Twitter, tweet, and do your boosting and all the rest.
Yep.
Thanks everybody. Love
Thanks, guys.
Hey.
Bye.
Guys,
Later, guys.
hey there.
Bye.
Hey there, just a last comment.